Hello, I'm Grace. A massive flow of capital is moving through the Hanam region, the heart of South Korea's semiconductor industry. Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix have committed a staggering 800 trillion Korean won, approximately 585 billion USD, to establish a semiconductor ecosystem in the Hanam area. This enormous funding is expected to serve as a core driver to increase domestic semiconductor self-sufficiency and secure leadership in next-generation technologies. However, as policy pressure from the United States intensifies, this large-scale investment plan has reached a critical crossroads. Looking at the current situation, domestic companies are facing a double burden. They must keep massive amounts of capital within Korea while simultaneously meeting the demands of the United States. While past investments were autonomous choices aimed at securing technological prowess, the current landscape is shaped by forced variables driven by global geopolitical dynamics. Comparing U.S. requirements with domestic investment plans reveals a conflict between strengthening the local ecosystem and restructuring overseas supply chains. According to reports, U.S. policy demands have escalated beyond mere recommendations to a level that could shake the very management strategies of these corporations. Should this pressure exert a practical influence, companies face the risk of having to revise or delay their domestic investment plans. In particular, the additional cost burden arising from the supply chain restructuring could act as a factor that diminishes the return on this astronomical 800 trillion won investment. Verifying the facts shows that corporate decision-making has shifted from purely technical judgment to placing greater emphasis on managing geopolitical risks. From the perspective of the domestic semiconductor ecosystem, U.S. pressure is highly likely to act as an external shock that could weaken the very foundation of the local industry. Ultimately, this can be interpreted as a context where the global struggle for hegemony is fundamentally altering how our companies manage assets and how the industrial landscape is shaped. This situation clearly demonstrates that we have entered an era where political variables, beyond simple economic logic, determine the very survival of an industry. Moving forward, the key to semiconductor supremacy will lie in how our companies balance U.S. demands while safeguarding the stability of domestic investments. It is now time for the government and corporations to collaborate and devise sophisticated response scenarios to navigate these massive waves. I'm Grace, thanks for watching.